Hi, my name's Anthony, and straight off the bat, I have epilepsy. I live with epilepsy. I've always lived with epilepsy since I was 6 or 7 years old. I believe I was born with a thing that causes it, and um, I used to blog about it, used to write about it, twice a week, 700 words, no problem. Then life changed, and here I am in my house with my two kids, one of which is tottering around over there with a bag of clothes. That she's Yeah, I need to clean that. Thank you. Um, but what I wanted to talk about was um, you see a lot of videos about how video, and rightly so, how epilepsy affects women, especially when it comes to go-to drugs and medication, anti-epileptic drugs that are used for the treatment of epilepsy, or now no longer used in certain people. And also, as a knock-on effect of that there's a shortage of certain go-to drugs um, for epilepsy. Now, I'm fortunate enough to be um, not taking any of those medications. I did at one point, but very recently changed over to a different one. Now, my epilepsy is what's called refractory. It doesn't respond to medication, so it's just there. It's there, always there, and it's always going to cause me a problem as long as I have the the tumor in my head, which is called a disembryoplastic neuroepithelial tumor. But I wanted to, for people who don't really understand epilepsy or what it is, I want you to think of it a bit like this. It's a bit like going on a lad's holiday without the fun, and someone drawing on your head, and you know something needs to be done. You know you're going to wash your head or do something. They know you got to go and do something and wash your head and take care of the stain on your head, but no one's going to say a word about it. So no one talks about it. And if people do talk about it, they're genuinely quite afraid of offending. And nowadays, all people want to do is talk about epilepsy and cannabis. Those are the two things they want to talk about. I mean, that's fine. Those are two topics that people can talk about. However, if you say that C word around a lot of people with epilepsy, it's a hot topic, you know, especially when you have people who are very desperate. And I say that as someone who has run out of medication choices, and I'm going in for surgery on the 1st of April to have stereo EEG to see if I can have a resection, because there's nothing else they can do for me. Anyway, I thought I'd reintroduce myself, as I've never really used YouTube in the way that I used WordPress, which is what I used to use, and there are other blogging formats out there. Um, but I have a disembryoplastic neuroepithelial tumor, and I'll only really talk about the things that I know affect myself and people like myself. But as I've got older, I've discovered one thing: it is all-consuming. I found that the older I've got, I haven't been able to just run it off. It's taken more from me. It takes longer to recover. It takes longer to do everything. And so I wonder what you think about that. The idea, as you get older, does your epilepsy age with you or age you? Uh, you I know when I was in university, I did not follow my epilepsy nurse's advice, which was the opposite of what I did. So, but I just did what anyone else did when they went to university. Um, but my epilepsy nurse was basically said, "Do not go out, do not go drinking, do not smoke is a terrible idea." So all of those things I made sure I did. I did in excess, and I had a nice time. If you can hear a piano, my daughter just pressed some buttons, and that's absolutely fine. Now's a good time to call it a draw, and I'll see you next time.